my review of Jojo's Bizarre Adventure Diamond is Unbreakable, episode 18, part 1 of Shigechi's Harvest. Just when you think the main plot of part 4 has officially started and we're going to learn more about Kira and investigate more on these disappearances, no, let's focus on Josuke's money problems instead. Previous episode we finally got the main plot kicking, and in this episode we kind of segue into something completely different, but at least we are introduced to another character, another stand user. Shigeko Yangu, aka Shigechi, and his stand Harvest. His stand Harvest is another swarm type stand like Keicho's Bad Company, and it consists of an army of these six-legged bug wasp-like creatures. And the thing is with Shigechi, he's using a stand not for evil purposes or extremely selfish desires. He's just using a stand to find lost change across Morio. That's pretty much it, really. So Shigechi and Harvest are pretty harmless, and Josuke and Okuyasu do encounter the stand and chase after it, leading them to this nearby clearing in this forest where they meet Shigechi. And Shigechi, learning that Josuke and Okuyasu are stand users, was so happy because it felt like he finally got some friends, and he never had friends before, which is kind of sad, really. Now let's talk about Shigechi here. His design is, it's something, that's for sure. I mean, he's a short, chubby little guy, a middle schooler, so he's like, what, 13, 14 years old? And he's got these spikes on his head, which I don't know if that's his hair or those are like actual spikes from his head. It is weird. Not only that, but he also has one of those like One Piece laughs where, you know, characters usually have those strange laughs in that anime. And in this case, Shigechi's laugh is shi. Shigechi, in terms of his personality, he does come off as a naive little guy, but kind of nice, and I guess if you look pretty closely, he can be kind of cute, but let's face it, we all know who's the best cute character in this part. It's Okuyasu, no doubt. But seriously, with Shigechi, he does come off as a kind of nice guy. I mean, he was willing to give Josuke and Okuyasu half of the change that he found with his stand Harvest. Okuyasu was willing to accept the offer, but Josuke refused because he came up with an even better idea to make a lot more money. So yeah, he is going to take advantage of this kid to make money, but there's no harm in it, I guess, because they're going to split the money 50-50. What his idea consists of is using Harvest to find these vouchers and coupons and these stamps where they can exchange it for cash. And Shigechi, being the nice, naive little guy that he is, and happy that he finally has gotten friends, decides to go along with the plan using Harvest, while Josuke would use Crazy Diamond to repair some of the torn pieces of paper. And with Okuyasu, he didn't do anything to contribute for this plan. I mean, he didn't even use his stand, he didn't even do anything. All he did was just, I guess, told Shigechi where to find all the vouchers and stamps and all that, I guess. So Josuke goes to exchange them for some cash, which they make a lot of cash, like over 60,000 yen. However, it seems that Shigechi's true colors start to show. That, or the money and his greed was starting to get to him, starting to corrupt him, to the point where he would take most of the money and he would just give Josuke and Okuyasu less than half of it. Because according to him, he felt like he deserved most of it since him and his stand were doing most of the work, even though it was Josuke that came up with the idea. So much for the Invincible trio. So some tension does start off between Shigechi and Okuyasu, but Josuke convinced Okuyasu to just let it go and accept the 10,000 yen that they got, being civil about it, but this was all just a front so that they can just continue working with Shigechi and get more money. Bunch of selfish pricks, but hey, I like these selfish pricks. Okuyasu was going through some old lottery tickets to find a winning one, which he does find a winning lottery ticket, and the prize was 5 million yen. That's like, what, over $50,000? That's a lot of money. So yeah, they hit the jackpot with this ticket, and they're all excited over this. Well, Josuke and Okuyasu were. Shigechi, on the other hand, well, things are getting even more intense because since his stand found the ticket, he deserves most of the money and he didn't want to split half of it with Josuke and Okuyasu. His greed and his desire for money started to consume him even more, to the point where it seems like he is going to fight to take all that money for himself, and that is pretty much where the episode ends. So yeah, that was episode 18 of Diamonds Unbreakable. Overall, this was a weird episode, but it was a very funny one. I gotta admit, I thought I was gonna be like very angry that we had to segue into something completely different since we finally got the main plot kicking from the previous episode. But you know what? I wasn't even mad about it. I was a little bit, but I got over it. The episode was really funny because of Shigechi's antics and, of course, the facial expressions from everyone else. I mean, Josuke and Okuyasu had some pretty funny facial expressions, and their reactions when they found out about the tickets being a winning one was hilarious. And I do gotta say, despite how I don't like the fact that Josuke and Okuyasu are taking advantage of this kid, using him to make money, but I guess it will be all good because they're sharing the money, but not really. I do like their friendship and chemistry. Their dynamics are very well done. In fact, this might be like my new favorite best bro pairing in Jojo. All the more reason why I don't want Okuyasu to die! Because when it comes to friendships in Jojo, they don't last very long. Joseph and Caesar dies. Jotaro and Kakyoin and Abdul and Polrath, Kakyoin and Abdul dies. Jonathan and Speedwagon lives, but Jonathan dies, which, by the way, fuck you, Dio. So please don't kill off Okuyasu. I love this little goofball. And don't kill off Josuke too, because I want their friendship to last until the ending of this part. Please. Now, going back with Shigechi, his stand Harvest, I thought it was an interesting, cool one. I mean, it was cool seeing another swarm type stand, and there were a lot of those little bug-like creatures from Harvest. I do question its range though, because it seems like its range must be greater than 20 meters or something, since he was able to like send his stand off to find all this loose change and the stamps and the vouchers all across Morio, you know? It seemed like Shigechi was harmless at first, but because of this like little scheme that Josuke came up with, and because of this money, his greed is starting to grow, and it seems to be like really obsessed and consumed with it now, to the point where he doesn't want to share anymore. Which is a shame, really, because he seemed like a pretty nice, kind of cute boy in a way. But yeah, I don't get why there's a lot of hate with Shigechi. I mean, when it comes to like the fandom, a lot of people hate Shigechi for some reason, but I personally don't see it. I mean, sure, he does come off as a little bit of a prick later on, but he was being used by Josuke and Okuyasu. So thinking about it, I feel like that's kind of like payback for the boys. And he seems harmless. I mean, he doesn't come off as a bad guy, you know? He's just nice and naive in a way. But I guess maybe in the next episode I'll probably see why people hate Shigechi. But for now, I don't hate him. I don't see why people hate him, really. I think his stand is cool, so yeah, there is that. As for animation and artwork, I thought it was pretty good for the most part. And how the faces and facial expressions were animated was very well done, because there were a lot of funny and strange ones, courtesy of the Invincible trio. And there were a lot of like color changes in this episode. One of them that I really liked was near the end when Shigechi was getting all greedy and not wanting to share that money. You can see like the color of his face changing into something darker, which I thought was a very nice touch. Not only that, but when Josuke and Okuyasu were celebrating about winning 5 million yen, there were these fireworks in the background, which was weird but pretty funny. There were some that would go like great, happy, dora dora. One of them was Ri. Like, okay, whatever, but hey, I thought it was pretty neat. As for voice acting, I think you can tell that the voice actors were having a lot of fun with this one. And again, I freaking love Wataru Takagi as Okuyasu. Once again, he kills it. He was so perfect, especially when he was like yelling and screaming of happiness and joy. That I freaking love his voice acting as Okuyasu. I gotta give kudos to him. As for Shigechi, he's voiced by Kappei Yamaguchi, who actually voiced him in the video game. So we got ourselves another character who got to keep his video game voice actor, which is great. He also voiced L from Death Note. Yeah, that was L from Death Note. He also voiced Detective Conan and Kaito from the Detective Conan and Magic Kaito series, and that one crossover with Detective Conan and Lupin the Third, that one, yeah. He also voiced Inuyasha from Inuyasha, Ranma from Ranma Half, Kuma from Persona 4, Taro Raimon from Eyeshield 21, and you all know him best as Usopp from One Piece. But he did also voice another character from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. He was the voice of Forever, the orangutan, the strength stand user from Stardust Crusaders. And also another thing to point out here, Shigechi is voiced by Inuyasha, and Kira is voiced by Naraku. So you got Kira and Naraku in this series. Oh, there's this other scene I do have to touch upon. We get a scene with Koichi, who sees Okuyasu and Shigechi, but he sensed that someone was spying on him, and when he turned around, there was Yukako, whose hair is no longer white. I don't get what's up with that, but yeah, Yukako's there, and he gets the fuck out of Dodge. I don't blame him. I mean, seriously, after all that shit he went through with Yukako, he has every right to get away from her and run away. Although it seemed that Yukako was feeling bad that Koichi ran away from her. I guess she was really feeling guilty for what she did. But if there is the off chance that there will be some sort of like relationship with them, then she has to like go up to Koichi, say that she's sorry, and try to, you know, start off fresh and become friends. I mean, if Koichi can talk to Rohan, can talk to Tamami, and freaking Toshikazu, then I'm pretty sure that Yukako would have a chance. So since the next episode is going to be the conclusion of this two-parter, we'll obviously see a fight between Shigechi and Josuke and Okuyasu. I'm curious to see how Harvest will be used in action in terms of fighting, so I am looking forward to seeing that. So tell me guys, what do you think of this episode of Diamond is Unbreakable? Did you like it? Did you hate it? What do you think of Shigechi and his stand Harvest? And were you kind of disappointed that we had to segue to something completely different instead of focusing on the main plot? Personally, I'm not all that mad about it because this episode was pretty funny and a bit weird. And what did you think of all those facial expressions and all those funny moments and the reactions? Because I thought they were pretty funny, and it was another funny, weird episode. Very enjoyable, really. So tell me your thoughts in the comment section down below. Like the video if you like it, subscribe to more videos, and be sure to check out my Facebook fan page and Google+. So yeah, that was Jojo's Bizarre Adventure, Diamond is Unbreakable, episode 18. I'm Learner Spawn 27, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.